Hey Jared, this is Keaton Everett with ABC going over your pitching video from camp. I'm going to go through and talk a little bit about your mechanics and a couple of the spots and that we like to look at in throughout our delivery. Look at how you're setting up your first sort of initial setup. How you start dictates so much about how you're going to finish. That we always like to look at that too to make sure everything's starting off good. Then we're going to look at, basically really keying on your lower half. Looking at what your hips are doing, your legs, because that's sort of the main driving force behind your mechanics, behind velocity, is are we using our legs, are we using our hips to get everything rolling. And then we'll kind of look through at your foot strikes once that front foot first hits the ground, how everything's looking, and then how you're finishing, all right? So we'll kind of go through and talk a little bit about each step. So basically right off the bat, we're going to start here, and we always look at, get that a little bit bigger. We always look at where your head is and where your spine is, and just kind of watch your balance throughout the first start. All right. So you can see you're doing a slide step here. All right. So it's just sort of lift that leg and get going. All right. What we want to try to get in the habit of doing. All right. And I'd also like to say off the bat that mechanically you're pretty solid and pretty sound, all right? You're, especially for your age, everything's looking pretty solid here, all right? One thing to work on is that doing a slide step like this, where you don't even lift your knee up, is you really lose a lot of your hips and everything, all right? If you watch guys in the big leagues doing slide steps, is they still get a little bit of knee lift because you can still be just as quick, but you're going to be able to generate a little bit more power, a little bit more velocity just by getting this knee, even if it's just so much as to try to get it somewhere back behind this back foot, so then your hips get closed off and you can drive with your hips a little bit more. It can be just as quick. You might not think it'd be as quick lifting your knee up, but it can be. So work on, especially on your slide step, is just get a little bit of a knee kick back to here. It doesn't have to be all the way up here, nice and big and long. Just get a little bit of kick back here, so that closes off your hips, and that gets your hips in a better spot to drive forward. All right. So, usually from the stretch or wind up, once that leg gets up, we like to see the head stay over the your back foot through that leg lift. So since you aren't doing that leg lift, it's good that your first movement's forward. All right. A lot of times the guys are going back, so it looks like you're pretty good at loading up over your backside. And staying there, all right? So now what we look at is take a look at your hands here, all right? So as we step forward, all right, you can see your hands break pretty early and coming through, okay? So that high glove set is okay for you. I think it's just a little bit extreme. You can see your hands are breaking about right here. So I'd recommend just trying to get your hands down just a little bit more, all right, because we want to try to eliminate all the excess movement. So a lot of times guys will have their hands up here, and then they won't break until down here, so they get a lot of movement, all right? So you're not getting a whole lot of movement, but there's just a little bit of, it's about right to there that we can just kind of clean up a little bit, maybe just come set with your hands just kind of somewhere around your chin. We just don't want them too high above that ear. There's just not a whole lot of guys that do that just for that sake, because we want to try to come set where that ball comes out at, all right? So if you're to break your hands here, which obviously wouldn't be very good, we want you to come set there. If you drop down way down here, we want you to come set there, all right? So it looks like you're kind of breaking about right here, so just drop your glove a little bit lower, so then there's no kind of movement down. Throwing your hands down, breaking your hands down doesn't help a whole lot with velocity or power or anything, all right? So you're doing pretty good at getting your hands breaking over the rubber. A lot of times you'll see guys kind of driving forward, and then their hands start to break here, so you're getting pretty consistent. All right, that's how you get consistency, is breaking your hands over the rubber, starting that delivery out, getting everything going early as opposed to late. All right, so now we're coming through the delivery here. All right, now we're going to look at foot strikes. Once that front foot first hits the ground, which looks like your heel might just be touching right here, all right. You have pretty good angles here. Your glove staying on over that front foot, which is good. A lot of times you don't see that. Guys will start pulling that shoulder early. But another thing with that sort of that leg lift we go to back here is what it does is it doesn't get your hips closed long enough. All right, so what you're going to see is you're going to see yourself land a little bit short. All right, so as you come through here, all right, you're just not extending fully down the mound. It looks like you're probably half to 3/4 your body length. All right, we want to try to drive the hips. We want to get them closed. That's what will happen when you get your knee back a little bit more, and then drive the hips as far down the mound as you can while keeping them closed. And I bet you with your height, it looks like you're a pretty tall kid. You might be able to pick up a whole nother foot length here. Now you're probably about right here, and you got a little bit more extension back through that foot back there. All right. So it's just all about driving down the mound, staying closed as long as you can, using that body, using those legs. Don't think about trying to reach out with this left foot. Think about this initial, getting your knee back in here somewhere, getting those hips closed, and then as you kind of come down, now your leg might be about right here, but your hips are still closed. Now that leg's kind of kicking out here, and so it's just the ability to sort of delay everything will cause you to gain more in stride length, and that will help get more hips involved with everything. And it'll just get you more power. We want velocity. All right, so then as you're coming through your release, all right, you're doing a pretty good job at keeping your glove down over your foot, all right, driving everything through it. And now at your release point, all right, you're releasing the ball about right here. All right, your head's a little bit back behind your shoe. And so the more that we can get sort of down the mound down here, keeping your hips closed longer, is you're going to see yourself pick up, a whole nother couple inches of release point. You're going to see everything sort of shift out front here. You're going to get your head out over your front foot a little bit more, and you're going to pick up, a release point of out here. So just, that's, it's just basically, would you rather release 90 miles an hour from here or 90 miles an hour from here? It's just that sort of that virtual velocity that it's a lot tougher. When the ball's getting released, it just comes on the hitter a lot quicker. All right, so that's just a matter of using the legs, getting down that hill. You're doing a good job at driving through your back leg. A lot of times you'll see kids sort of get this early, that bend in their knee. So we just want to see at this spot in this release point, you probably should be a little bit farther out over that front foot out here, just using more of that lower half, more of that body to get everything rolling. You got a good finish. Eyes are staying on the target, all right, nice and solid. So you got a really good foundation, everything. Now it's just a matter of not trying to be so quick. You can still be quick, getting your knee up, getting your hips closed, and then just think about driving those hips closed farther down the mound to help you get down the hill. Don't think about that left foot, and you're going to see a big increase in velocity. A lot of times guys throw pretty hard on the windup, then they get to the stretch and there's a big drop in velocity, which shouldn't be the case. They just get a guy on a stopwatch and just time and see that how much leg lift you can get to get those hips closed and to drive down the mound. And it's going to help you out a lot. But, overall, really solid for your age. It's good to see. So good luck this season. Hopefully you had a great time at camp. Thanks for making it out. We look forward to seeing you with ABC.